Reuben and Holiday Melody. Once upon a time, in the heart of a snow-covered forest, there was a small village named Melody Creek. This village was famous for its beautiful holiday music. Every year, the villagers gathered in the town square to sing together, and their harmonious carols would drift through the woods, spreading warmth and cheer even in the coldest winter nights. The one who led the carolers was a young boy named Reuben. Reuben had a magical voice that could lift even the heaviest of hearts, and his love for music was known throughout the village. But this year, something was different. The usual melody that filled Melody Creek during the holiday season was missing. The bells didn't ring, the flute stayed silent, and the townsfolk were quieter than usual. Reuben noticed it too. He knew something was wrong when his own voice seemed to lose its spark, and the music in his heart felt distant. The magic of the holiday season was fading, and without it, the village was losing its cherished tradition of singing together. Determined to find out why the holiday cheer was disappearing, Reuben decided to set off on a journey to uncover the missing melody. Reuben packed his small satchel with warm clothes, some bread, and his beloved flute. As he stepped out of his cozy home, his grandmother, who had once been the village's most beloved singer, called out to him. "Reuben, remember, the key to music lies not just in your voice, but in your heart," she said, her eyes twinkling with warmth. Reuben nodded, and with her words in mind, he headed towards the edge of the village. There he met his best friend, a cheerful little red robin named Ruby. Ruby had always been by Reuben's side during his music practices, chirping along to his tunes. Today, Ruby was ready to help him find the lost melody. "Come on, Ruby," Reuben said, holding out his flute. "Let's bring the music back to Melody Creek." Together, Reuben and Ruby traveled deep into the forest. The snow-covered trees whispered in the gentle breeze, and the ground crunched beneath their feet. They followed the faint echo of a tune that seemed to come from far away, a melody that was calling to them. As they journeyed, they met a group of animals gathered near an old, frozen pond. There were rabbits, deer, and even a fox, all with sad eyes. "Why do you all look so glum?" Reuben asked, his flute in his hand. The deer, with her soft brown eyes, spoke up. "The melody tree, the tree that gives us the magic of music every year, has lost its song. Without it, the whole forest feels empty, and the village has lost its cheer." Reuben knew about the melody tree, a magnificent pine that stood at the center of the forest, its branches always shimmering with light and sound during the holiday season. It was said that the tree's melody was what gave Reuben his beautiful voice and filled the village with holiday spirit. He knew they had to help the melody tree sing again. With Ruby by his side, Reuben and the animals made their way to the center of the forest. When they reached the melody tree, Reuben's heart sank. The tree stood tall, but its branches were drooping, and there was no shimmer, no music, only silence. Reuben stepped forward, his flute in his hand. He closed his eyes and thought about his grandmother's words. He thought about the joy the music brought to everyone in the village, the smiles on the children's faces, and the warmth in everyone's hearts when they sang together. Slowly, he began to play his flute. The first notes were soft and shaky, but Ruby began to chirp along, and soon the rabbits, the deer, and even the fox joined in, making gentle sounds of encouragement. The melody grew stronger, and Reuben's heart filled with warmth and hope. The branches of the melody tree began to lift, and a soft glow appeared at the tips of the needles. Reuben continued to play, pouring all his love for the village, the forest, and the holiday season into the melody. The glow on the tree brightened, and soon a soft, harmonious hum emerged from the melody tree itself. The magical music spread through the forest, filling every corner with warmth and joy. The animals smiled, and Ruby chirped with delight as the melody tree came back to life, its branches shimmering with light and sound. Reuben knew the magic was returning. He played until the entire forest was alive with music, and the melody tree was shining brightly once again. The animals danced, and Ruby flew around Reuben, her song blending perfectly with the melody of his flute. With the melody tree restored, Reuben and Ruby hurried back to Melody Creek. As they approached the village, the bells began to ring, and the villagers gathered in the square, their faces lighting up with joy. Reuben stood in the center, and as he played his flute, the villagers joined in, their voices rising in harmony. The music of Melody Creek had returned, and with it the warmth and magic of the holiday season. Reuben's grandmother watched proudly as her grandson led the carolers, the sparkle back in his eyes. She knew that the true magic of the holiday season wasn't just in the music. It was in the love and hope that everyone shared. That night, the village of Melody Creek glowed with warmth and happiness, the music echoing through the forest, bringing joy to everyone who heard it. And Reuben, with Ruby by his side, knew that as long as there was love in their hearts, the melody of the holidays would never fade. The end.